Hello there, my name is Rebekah Awuah, and it is another week where we're looking at the major headlines within the papers. It is the weekly press review. You can join us via Facebook on our Facebook page at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and you can like it, you can share it, and you can also send in your comments, and we'll read it here right on set. And we'll be looking at major topics within the week: Arise Ghana demonstration, whether the government should go to the IMF for a bailout, and we'll also take a look at the issues pertaining to the National Cathedral. Then NAT is also demanding 20% cost of living allowance. These and more on the weekly press review. But before then, and before I introduce my guest in the studio, let's take a look at some of the papers and the headlines within the week. We have the Daily Graphic. Says partner to fight water pollution, and that is in front of the Daily Graphic. And government assesses impact of economic interventions. That can be found on page 20. When you check the other headlines, Graphic Group increases cover prices, and we have the Criminal Code also embraces plea bargaining, and that is on the front page of the Daily Graphic, Truth and Advocacy. Let's look at the Ghanaian Times. We have the Arise Ghana demo turns chaotic, and that is on the banner headline of the Ghanaian Times, dated June 29, 2022. That story is on page 16, and we know that the police fires tear gas, water cannon, demonstrators also throw stones, and scores arrested. There you can find the story of the health minister testifying in a 2.37 million pounds ambulance procurement case, and that is on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times, dated June 29. Don't place premium on private gains, Ochihene tells African leaders, and the Ochihene or Sajefo Amwete for Repenyin has called African leaders not to place their private gain and interest above those of the people, and that can be found on page 3 of the Daily Graphic on July 1, the latest newspaper, Truth and Accuracy every day. That is on the banner headline for the Daily Graphic. And you can find also Don't Go to IMF, and that is from the TUC to the government, as experts get divided, private sector get divided over whether the government should go to the IMF for a bailout or find other ways of helping our economy. And there too you can find second day Arise Ghana demo ends peacefully and protesters present. Also in the Daily Graphic, dated June 30th, IMF to go or not to go, and that is the question then. Experts support move, but private sector is divided over that move. And on page 16 of that too, we have fishers differ on close season, and down there you can see 31.7 million mobilized for the National Cathedral. And there are other stories in the Daily Graphic, and you can get one for yourself. And the Ghanaian Times reports of a mad rush for Ghana card, as today marks start of the Bank of Ghana's directive to use ID card only for all bank transactions, and that can be found on page 16 of the Ghanaian Times, dated July 1. You can grab that paper and see the details for yourself. And chaos, tear gas Arise Ghana demo, and 12 policemen injured, some protesters also arrested. And the Daily Graphic reports that on the 29th of June 2022, and that story is by Dixon Wolanyo Doche. It can be found on page 3 of the newspaper. And update your records with your Ghana card effective July 1. Ghanaian Times also reports, let's focus on TVET. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, tells West, Central, and African governments, and it's on page 16 of the Ghanaian Times, and the most authoritative newspaper that is dated June 28. Trade Minister advocates loan guarantee scheme for MSMEs, and that can be found on page 16, as well as Mr. Alan Tremantin calls for that. And avoid monkeypox by adhering to COVID-19 safety protocols. That is from Dr. Benjamin Kisi-Sesu. And those stories and more can be found in your most authoritative newspaper, the Ghanaian Times, and that is the June 28th edition. 8 companies also in court for defaulting a 1.7 billion SNIT workers contribution, and that is on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. Get the papers, grab them, and get to read more of those stories and get to know what is happening or what has happened within our country for the last week. And I have in studio to be discussing this issue with me here. I have a member of the NPP communications team in the person of Mr. Alfred Kojo Thompson. Yes, we will also be joined shortly by Elikem Kotoko, who is a member of the NDC communication team. And as I earlier indicated, we are looking at pressing issues here. The Arise Ghana demonstration. We're looking at whether the government should go to the IMF or not. $37.1 million raised for the National Cathedral project, and NAT also demanding a 20% of cost of living allowance.
Very big thank you to us.
Mr. Thompson, Arise Ghana. Arise Ghana demonstration.
A1 bread, niche, taste of Ghana.
What is your comments about that? Let's see. How did it go in your perspective? Was it even necessary at this time?
I'd say good morning to your cherished viewers. And it's been some time I came over here. Arise Ghana. And today is Independence Day, so I'll say happy days. Everybody has a right to demonstrate. And that right cannot be taken away from the person. However, your demonstration should be within the confines of the laws of this country. You cannot decide to do things on your own. You cannot decide to take the law into your own hands because you are demonstrating. You cannot decide to throw objects at the people who are supposed to keep the peace and the security around you. You cannot also decide to burn ties on the streets, that is the tar that has been put there, to destroy it. So at the end of it all, what we're seeking is that you need to send a message across. You need to let the government and the people who are in authority know that the things are not going as you expect, and that you have another alternative in which the government, if they listen to you, could help resolve the problems. So that is what we expected from the Arise Ghana demonstration. And I keep on saying that when you are in opposition and you don't plan well, you plan to fail. Because what is happening now is that, yes, we expect the opposition to come out with whatever message they want to come out. And definitely, once you're in opposition, you have everything to say against a certain government, because when there are challenges, you have an upper hand. However, we expect you to do it in a nice and presentable manner that will help and enhance the peace, the security, and the development of this country. They started on day one in a very bad line, because when you look at the videos and the things that were shown, the stoning of some police personnel and everything, definitely, I don't believe that the police just got up and started throwing tear gas into the crowd. I don't believe that they just stood up and decided that, listen, let's punish these people, or let's arrest 32 of them, of which 2 were released because on health grounds, and 29 were sent to the police station or were put behind counterback. So at the end of it all, what we expect from them is some peace, some nice way of showing your displeasure about how things are going, but you do it in a coordinated manner that will not affect the peace, the security, the unity that we are embracing at the moment. So once you do that and you don't do it well, you expect that the people too who are guarding you will also have a counter reaction. Sometimes you hear them say no, and they even before the demonstration they were not in agreement with the path they should take and everything. When you see that someone is not in agreement with you on certain things, you also take a precautionary measure. You don't take a combative measure to make sure that you are going to fight the person, hook or crook. Because whether you like it or not, the person is in charge. The person is the one who is going to control affairs at the moment. And the mere fact that you've gone to court to raise an injunction or whatever you call it doesn't mean that automatically it has been accepted and that you should do what you like. You still have to work within the confines of the laws. So day one was not that good as we expected, but day two went very well. It went very coordinated. Both parties respected each other. You could see the police marching directly in front of this thing, and the security was high as expected. And the demonstrators, I think they also took a cue from day one with all the things that went on, and also decided that let us work within the confines of the agreements that has been accorded us. So they also did very well by putting themselves together. The message was well delivered to the Ministry of Finance and I think to Parliament, and definitely government will look at it. Already there are some measures that are being put in place. You know that the government is going for the mid-year retreat to see the things that the measures that they took in January, to see whether how it's gone so far and whether there are more measures that should be taken or some that should be reviewed. So at the end of it all, we're looking for the good of this country. We're looking for the peace of this country. So if they are also contributing peacefully to that good of this country, we embrace it with all its righteousness. But if it's going to be in a bad and deadly manner, as we saw on the first day, by trying to burn ties in the middle of the road, forgetting that it's the taxpayers' money that they used to construct the roads and everything. When you burn the ties, it spoils the tire over there. You have to take money and do it. Look at the stones that were thrown at the cars of the police and everything. It's all taxpayers' money, and we don't want to be seeing those unruly things in the country. So I would say that on the whole, I think they've sent their message across. It's been heard in good faith, and I believe that at the end of it all, we want the good of this country.
Right. But I have been joined by Elikem Kotoko, who is a member of the NDC Communications team. Elikem.
Rebekah.
Long time.
Yes, sir.
And good to have you.
Same here. I feel very good to be here.
We're looking at the Arise Ghana demonstration.
Yeah.
And the motive behind the demonstration. Is it welcome news around this time?
It's welcome news at a very sad time in the history of our beloved country. I mean, you would agree with me that as we speak today, it doesn't matter whether you voted NPP or NDC. So long as you boarded a vehicle or drove a vehicle here, the price of petrol has increased astronomically. It takes a very lazy and insensitive and very irresponsible leader to tell you that there's war between Ukraine and Russia. That is the reason why. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is not the reason why our currency has become very important. If the CD was actually a CD to the dollar, imagine how much a liter of petrol would have been. So let them not keep insulting the intelligence of Ghanaians about the quagmire we find ourselves in. It is the more reason why we would have to actually applaud the organizers of the Arise Ghana demonstration. I would want to use this platform to even urge them to replicate this on regional basis and even if constituency basis. I must also say a very big shame to the police on their misconduct on the first day. Let me quote particularly what Mr. Bernard Mona said. If you recall in one of his interviews, he did make it very clear that they saw policemen who were wearing Arise Ghana t-shirts. At a point when they even tried to get rid of one of them, the police took them and actually acknowledged he was one of them. What was the motive behind that? That was a deliberate attempt to mar the progress of the process. And it's very shameful that a police service that has taken a nosedive for some time now has made itself a stooge, especially the top hierarchy, and they have become compromised only to the regime. Thank God, however, that the second day, they actually did not misconduct themselves the same way they did. I would not want to play any blame game here as to who threw stones first and who did what. From where I sit, I noticed that the police misconducted themselves, and the people have gotten to their limit. If you venture, they will come at you. And I will say this even on any platform anywhere, that if any police officer tries to assault any civilian again, you need to pay them back.
No,
because,
no.
well, that is your opinion. You can decide to take it out. Let me tell you this. Yes, it's your opinion. Let me tell you.
Elikem, you would have to end it right there. Look, we don't entertain this kind of, especially because this is a national platform. Let me issue this disclaimer that any comment coming from the guest or the panel on this platform represents their own and not that of the corporation. We need to be very...
And I'll issue my own disclaimer on it as well, that I'm fully responsible
but not
for my
on
comments
this platform. Not on this. If you take back those words,
I will never do that. I will never do that. I am sorry, I will never do it. So don't even ask me again to take it back. I will never take it back. We cannot continue to be in a democratic dispensation where the police will be assaulting innocent civilians and we want to be embracing that.
Right.
If an eye for an eye makes the world go blind, then the person who is stepping on my eye should know that I can also step same on yours. So let us all be civil.
This is a weekly press review, and I am in here with Elikem Kotoko, who is a member of the NDC communications team, as well as Mr. Alfred Thompson, also a member of the NPP communications team. In as much as we are trying to deliberate on what has gone on within our country, we are also encouraging that we do not project hate speech on this platform. It is a national platform and it is worldwide. We'll go for a quick break, we'll come back and we'll tackle the issues on the table.
Sizzling helping. And there's much more on offer on GTV breakfast.
So what's your pleasure? Dambotrasia at that time of the morning.
You want it served buffet style, complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant
Or room service?
We've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
With a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV breakfast.
True revival is that divine moment when God bursts upon the scene and displays His glory. Get ready to experience the Word and the power of God as Ampiakofi World Outreach brings to you Voice of Revival with Reverend Robert Ampiakofi, the General Overseer of the Global Revival Ministries and the President of Ampiakofi World Outreach, one of the most uncompromising, dynamic, and powerful healing evangelists with an apostolic voice to the nations of the world. Live on GTV at 6 p.m. starting from Sunday the 3rd of July 2022. For more details, please call 0554-592-688. That is 0554-592-688. We are located at the Revival City, Naman Road, Hacho Mango Lane. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's starting from Sunday the 3rd of July 2022. God richly bless you.
Bus takes off again on a trip to sizzle your Saturdays for another stimulating journey across Ghana and Africa. Season 1 was spectacular and Season 2 is equally scintillating. The 27 passengers on the Caribou tour are well prepared to tell Africa's story in an exciting question and answer banter. They progress by elimination of 3 rounds. They win money at every leg of the journey, but only one of them wins the ultimate prize of 5,000 cedis. What is the currency used in Angola, the kwacha or the kwanza? Who was the flag bearer for the Popular Front Party for the 1979 elections in Ghana, Dr. Liman or Mr. Victor Owusu? Don't let the Caribou bus leave you behind. Join the trip to refresh your memories and learn a whole lot more. Proudly sponsored by Quality Life Assurance for good and comprehensive products and services. QLAC, we inspire trust. And Susanna Lodge Hotel, which offers you the best cuisine and accommodation for a unique experience. Presented by the Ofana Ed Foundation, which gives educational water to thirsty students.
Showing on GTV every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ted Spear, pastor of the Fundamental Baptist Church International in Kumasi, Ghana. I'd like to welcome you to join us here on GTV every Saturday morning from 6:30 to 7 a.m. Please join us as we discuss the scriptures each and every Saturday morning. God bless you.
And nations tremble at his voice. All creation.
Good to have you stay on the weekly press review, and we're looking at very pressing issues in our country, and our goal is for national development. Right. So, Elikem, before we went on the break, you were on a particular tangent, and I wanted you to retract, please, for our viewers, so that we can promote national unity and cohesion. Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. I'll get my speech, but there's nothing to retract on what I made earlier. However, moving forward, I would want to state that we need to advise the Ghana Police Service to abide by the very mantra of integrity, service with integrity, as they have said. Indeed, I'm sure you would agree with me, everybody was praising them for doing well on the second day. I would say it is because there was no opportunity for them to lash on again to unleash venom on the people. But all the same, it is good it went all well. It is the more reason why I will be very happy that the organizers of this program will look at having mammoth rallies of these demonstrations of this nature. Probably that will replicate concurrently across the country, in all regions, because the hardships is not only in Accra, it is not only in Kumasi, it is not only in Takrady, neither is it only in Tamale or only in Boga. So it should be all over the country. And that, I believe, a lot of Ghanaians would buy into and would also want to join in to demonstrate, which is a civil, in fact, it's a democratic right of every citizen that they ought to do. I must say that one of the reasons for this demonstration is because of the untold hardship that has been brought onto Ghanaians as a result of their public financial indiscipline by government, excessive borrowing, which is aimed at only helping or enriching the financial pockets of families and friends of the president, i.e., the finance minister whose company is the greatest beneficiary in terms of transactional advice to the numerous loans we are taking, amongst other things. So if you look at these and you see a regime where there cannot even be a reshuffle, it tells you that the regime is stuck. The very people they call the competent men are the square pegs in round holes we are seeing today, who were crying on rooftops that they are the best managers of the economy. They have, I told you here before, the president himself insulted himself, saying that Dr. Bawumia Nyakupodi in the president saying that to the vice. So you yourself, what? You get my point. And the very person who we are told has all the economic wisdom or the magic wand to transform the economy. Today, how much is the cedi to the dollar? How much is a liter of petrol? A liter of petrol used to be how much? A gallon that used to be about 14 or 15 cedis some 6 years ago is now the value of just 1 liter. So this untold hardship. If you visit Professor Steve Hanke on George Hopkins University, at George Hopkins University. He stated clearly that our inflation that has been pegged at about 26-27% is a total fabrication by government. It's a lie. It's hovering around 47%. And you would agree with me that is the reason why the hardship is severe compared to what we are witnessing
But
today.
looking at the current economic crisis and its implication on nations, what differently would your government would have done in this circumstance?
We've suggested so many things. For instance, the cut on waste. We have a president who is as insensitive as a headless chicken to still be flying a luxurious private jet all over in the name of what? Security. When we were here in your studios, we were told that the presidential jet was not fit for purpose. But the first lady was made to fly the same presidential jet to go and meet the president somewhere else. So she is supposed to die? So this hypocrisy of cherry picking and telling us what they think we should hear at one point and what we should hear at another is what has brought us here. We have people who are corrupt to the extent that you ask them questions and they feel that it is their right not to answer you, and people defend them. Where are the people, apostles, who were screaming 4 more? 4 more, it's left with 2 more, and the 2 more is going to be extreme hardship. We just need to brace ourselves for Western.
Is that supposed to be a prophecy?
That doesn't need to be a prophecy. You need to understand the comments, watch the prevailing situations, and be able to tell yourself that this is a regime that is helpless. They are helpless than even we, the people they are governing. The president has no idea what he's doing.
Really?
He just wants to enjoy himself, and he's in the extra time of his life, so he should enjoy his life, leave a dirt behind. Let me tell you one problem. For instance,
no.
What is a no for?
No, Elikem, this morning, the words you are saying are very strong.
Say, all things being opposition. Okay. Are you a Christian? Should I quote the Bible for you?
No.
Yes.
So that is not what we're discussing on the table. See, let's go back to the arise.
Yes.
And the cause of you.
That is what I'm telling you. A president who is insensitive, reckless, and irresponsible.
I won't admit that on this.
You will not admit that the president is insensitive, that he's using your tax to be flying all over in luxurious. I am sorry, then you are also being a hypocrite. As a media person who does not care about the president abusing power to this extent.
How do you abuse power with that?
Do you know of Sawabroni?
How do you abuse power with that?
Do you know how we are affecting our diplomatic missions?
We are looking at the Ghana. Arise Ghana demonstration.
Why didn't you ever bring this?
The Arise Ghana campaign. We are looking at how it fared and
you see,
how we can surmount those challenges going forward.
What is the basis for the Arise Ghana demonstrations? The untold hardships. What is bringing the untold economic hardships onto the people? When we have a regime that is spending so much as we speak, they are planning to use $35 million to relocate a married plant from Takrady Abuazi to Kumasi. The same Ameri plant that they told us when they were in opposition that the agreement was inflated. When they came, they tried to want to renegotiate it. Somebody had to fall on the axe for the president's corrupt behavior. So Ejako had to be sacked. He told us the dust would settle and he would talk. Till then, the dust has not settled. But when he wants to have a presidential ambition, now he's beginning to talk in bits and pieces. Hypocrisy personified. Again, the same Ameri deal that you said was a bad deal, you have the effrontery now to find wisdom in even relocating it to Kumasi or in the Ashanti region to serve the central and the northern belt. Is that not hypocrisy? And if you and myself will sit and look on and say that this is something we should not be talking about, then I'm sorry, but that is the reason.
No,
those are the things that
I am not saying we shouldn't talk about.
Yes.
But we know the matter before us that we are dealing with. In as much as you tie in all those, I am saying that the language should be civil and you.
So let me seek clarification.
But your point has been well made.
Yes, that I mentioned that the president was insensitive, reckless, and irresponsible was not a good language.
Let's look at the please.
Maybe then you may have to give us language that we should use, because I find it very awkward that you would say that today, saying that we have a president who is insensitive, which I can give you an example to. I can tell you even that our vice president is a liar, and I can give you an example to it. So where is the insensitive, the language?
Thank you.
Let me come to Alfred. Alfred, let's look at, we have all admitted that the clash between the police, but let's look at the other side. the police had also, the crowd had an instruction to follow. And looking at what the papers report from the Daily Graphic, I'm reading page 3 of the Daily Graphic, June 29, it says that while the protesters insisted on using the Ring Road Central, the circle towards police headquarters to picket at the Jubilee House, the police said the demonstrators should march to the Black Star Square through the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, where a team of police were lying in wait to coordinate the demonstration. Would we say also that the protesters did not follow the instructions of the security so that we can have a peaceful demonstration and we can have our messages put across to the authorities that be so they can respond?
Last 2 days, was it 2 days ago, I was listening to Kweku Baku and about demonstrations and how last minute the police would change your route towards your march and sometimes even cancel some of the demonstrations or the rallies and things that you want to do. And he was talking about a particular one where they gave them approval to hold a rally at one of these places. He mentioned the places, just escaped me. And whilst people, in the morning around 8, whilst people started gathering at the place, the police issued that change of plans. They don't have enough security, so they cannot hold that demonstration or rally or whatever they wanted to do. So it tells you straight away that these are things that happen. Now, when you look at why the demonstration that they wanted a 2-day demonstration, starting from, is it 8 a.m. in the morning, one day, go deep into the night, into the next day. You ask yourself, if the police should bring all the security they have onto this, and then in the evening, when there are robbers and everything that are going on, and they see that, this is what is going on. So why don't we just there's demonstration going on? Why can't we also go to the various houses and rob and things? What would we say, or what would the police say? Oh, because of the demonstrators, they couldn't guard the peace and security of the other people. So that was why the robbery went on. You see, it tells you straight away that these people had an objective. Now, we've heard from their chairman that let's make the country ungovernable, let's make the country rude, let's make the country unruly, so that at the end of the day, the presidency will feel unpopular and then they can have their way into driving into the presidency. I'm not shocked about what is going on at the moment, especially in the studio, because when you look back in 2008, look at the things that were sent against President Kufuor. They mentioned, right now he was mentioning Sewa Boni, they mentioned Giselle Yazi. For 8 years when they came into power, you couldn't even see the Giselle Yazi one step in this country. And they said he had twins, President Kufuor had twins with her. What haven't they said? They printed ministers' accounts, that so many ministers had so much fat amounts in their account. This is the modus operandi of a particular opposition party. So when they start behaving or they're going towards this time, you ask yourself, seriously, what do they want? And what is their alternative? The alternative has always remained scary. Because we sit down and we want to bring discipline into this country, we want to bring rule of law, order into the country, and we sit down and we start insulting ministers, presidents, whatever, name them, and we think we are doing the country any good, or we are teaching those after us something good for them to come and show off. I'm sorry, it won't happen. And when you look at this unruly thing that went on the first day, they have told you, listen, you can't take this route. Take this route. It's just nice that, okay, let's just go, let's have a peaceful demonstration. Once the message has been sent, listen, there could be a one-man demonstration that will send a signal. And everybody worldwide will understand that even this one man that he has demonstrated, the police has guarded him, he's gone wherever he wants to go, they've taken him wherever they want to take him. It has sent the message out. The demonstrators alone, if they hadn't caused this first day, problems that came on, it would have been a perfect thing for them to say that, listen, we've demonstrated, we've sent our message across, whatever we want to say, we've said it. You didn't need to bend ties, you didn't need to throw stones, you didn't need to do things that will show that, listen, I'm an unruly person, so whether you like it or not, I'll do whatever I want to do to make sure that I make this country ungovernable, I make this president unpopular, I destroy police vehicles, I do whatever I want to do. It doesn't speak well of you and your party and whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, it's the peace and security of this country that is important. Listen, Belgium, they went on the demonstration. Peaceful march. playing music all through. UK did the same thing. But recently, where president went to, what do you call it? They closed their airports and he couldn't fly in there. He used the train. So it tells you straight away. So when you come and sit there and say, blah, 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 and you start insulting and everything, is that a message that we want to send across? All we are saying is that the world over, there are issues. Right now, as we sit here, US is experiencing the 40-year high over its inflation and everything. But that doesn't mean that they have also started throwing stones at their president and calling names and everything. We all see it's a problem world over. We all know the difficulties that are going on. We have told you as a government that, listen, we know there are issues. We are not going to hide from them that there are no issues. There are issues the world over. We know what happened with COVID. It didn't even end when this Ukrainian thing started. It has cost so much. We know that very soon they are going to reduce the prices of the crude. So at the end of the day, the fuel prices will come down. It's a gradual thing. We don't just get up and do things in a vacuum or within a day because we want to please certain people. So we've done this. Governing a country is not like drinking cocoa. People should understand that. That is not like drinking cocoa. So at the end of the day, we do things that will help and will not cause future problems for this country. That is what we are looking at. And we have told you that, listen, we are in this together. If anything goes wrong, we are to blame. So we are not going to sit down and make sure that at the end of Nana Akufo-Addo's reign, we have handed over a government, even to whether to NPP or to NDC, a government that a financial situation that is so bad that we cannot talk about. That is not the type of government we want to hand over. We want to hand over something that we can make a name against, and that is what we are working towards. We have 2 years more to do that, and we will turn the country around. We will turn things around. We've done it before. Between 2017 to 2019, we know what we did. We know where the country was heading towards before all these things started. So we are not going to relent our efforts on making sure that we transform and change the difficulties that we are in. It's a difficult situation, but we are not going to relent our effort. That doesn't mean that we should throw our hands in despair and say that, the opposition should do whatever they like and behave in whichever manner, and then because of that we wait when our 4 years is up, we hand over and walk away. We won't do that. We will run this country and we'll run it well, and we'll turn things around, and we'll make sure that any Ghanaian living anywhere will be comfortable so much that at the end of it all, before the end of this 4 years, the second term, they will see the difference between governing a country and running riots and shouting around and insulting people all over.
Elikem, I see you smiling. That is
I love my senior brother's level of seriousness.
That would be the final.
Yes, I love his level of seriousness. But unfortunately, his level of seriousness is what has brought us all in this mess. So if this is their level of seriousness in governance that they are preaching to us about, I am sorry. The Ghanaian watching and listening to you will be laughing and ask if you guys are in tune with what the grassroots, what the people at the base are going through. You think that the Arise Ghana incident is supposed to make government unpopular? In 2015, then candidate Nanado went to London and told Ghanaians out there that let's go back home and increase the tempo a little bit. What did he mean by that? Reckless commentary by him at the time, and which must be said without any apology. So you don't say one thing, then tomorrow, let me give you breaking news anyways. President Akufo-Addo has authorized the bailout move. I'm sure he's not aware himself too. So I'm just telling you, for the IMF. You see, the hypocrisy of bastardizing even institutions, making it look like you are the economic doyens that the world has given Ghana. This is where we are today. Suddenly you want us to believe that the mess or whatever it is the same in the UK, in the US. Hypocrisy personified. You think you can even compare your country, our country, Ghana, to the UK? What is the per capita income of Ghana compared to the UK? What is the strength of their currency compared to ours? So we should never be thinking that, yes, for instance, if you go to the UK, inflation has gone up by 9.1%. Do you know the measures they are taking? For instance, number 10 is deciding that they will have to cut down on VAT in order to curb the hardship on people. What measures are you taking? Our president is still flying in luxurious jets and you don't want us to talk about it. Do you know how many schools that can build? Do you know how many wheelchairs it can even provide for physically challenged people on the street? And we are not supposed to talk about it. Let me be very sincere with you, my sister. Look, if we continue to remain mute out of fear and panic that people will come after us if we talk, we are going to be digging deeper into a mess. Currently where we are is not a good situation at all. What is the debt to GDP ratio as we speak? When under President Mahama it was around 56, 61, what names were they calling him? Incompetent, etc. So what do we call you today? When the cedi was actually about 4 to the dollar, what names were they calling the regime? You people who call yourselves and christen yourselves competent managers of the economy. Dr. Bawumia, suddenly we don't know where he even is. It's a mess. And it's very pathetic. I speak of these things with so much passion because you can see clearly for yourself that this country is no longer heading for doom. It's already in doom and digging deeper. And you want to believe that the conduct of the people insulted. Look, I don't want to, that's why I told you, I don't want to delve into who choose to. Look, the police assaulted, the civilians also assaulted.
Protesters
yes.
Have been injured, security officials injured.
Both of them,
Way
yes.
forward, what should be our appeal?
You see, for instance, like I heard my brother saying, I am sorry he had to make reference to Kweku Baku as the very person on whom he has to rely before admitting that maybe it is accepted or not. It is wrong for the police to actually, at the last hour, be changing your routes. You and I live in a country where we know laws work. And you and I live in a country where we know the Machiavellian tactics that can be adopted by a regime. So when it's about just 2 hours to a demonstration and you are now being told that this route is cancelled, you now have to take that route. Why do you think that the demonstrators should admit to your directives? You even went as far as going to the court. Then after that, at the last minute, you want to change it? That is a regime that has become a stooge, compromised, to an institution that has become compromised. And we must call the police out. They must act professionally. If they want to act politicians, let them take off their uniform and don politics uniform. Then we know they are politicians. But not actually be hiding behind their uniform with a very beautiful mantra of service with integrity. Yet they have tattered integrity as we speak today. So we must not be pretending to say that this is not a nice word. That, look, are you happy where you find yourself today? When you go out on the market to buy a bowl of kinky, when you go out there to buy flour, you want to buy even bread. That used to be just 4 cedis. People said so many things when petrol was even at 2.7 per liter. Today, it is crossing 15. Must we be happy about this as a country? And why is Ghana's situation so dire? Is Nigeria just not here? Togo is here, Benin is here, Cote d'Ivoire is here. Why is our situation much worse than theirs? What is the problem? And that is why we must stress that if a president can be as insensitive as deciding not to listen to the cry of the citizens by his lifestyle alone, you were asking what solutions do we have? We even submitted that, look, cut on waste. The numerous appointees you made. You said the job you had was so huge you had to attend to them. You appointed 125 and the task ahead is even greater than 500 people need now. And then when peaceful people want to demonstrate, you actually gather policemen that are almost half the number of the demonstrators. And this is supposed to make sense to the civilian. Right. See, we have gotten to that stage where the Ghanaian is now very aware of happenings around him. And so I do not need a lecture from anybody. Neither does the person even viewing us need any lecture. The real state of the economy is what they feel within themselves daily. Look, let me also say, today, around 7:15, I had news of the 4th person who I knew dying just out of pressure. I just went into a shop to buy provisions. I asked of the lady and I was told she was just walking and passed on. She had problems. I took my little kid to the hospital. I was asking of the nurse there who was attending to them. They said the guy was just for... Look, many people are even dying out of the untold economic hardship that has been brought onto them. And we must not mince words in letting this known to the government. Maybe they are entitled to some benefits, some per diems and allowances, so they are detached from the reality. You can take your camera, you can ask your own cameraman here. How well has their situation been better ever since this regime took over? How many times have they even seen any improvement in their life? Not necessarily to mean that you need pay rise, but that economic situations out there on the market will make it okay for you that even if you were receiving 100 cedis 6 years ago and you are still receiving 120, because prices have been stabilized, you will be okay with what you see at the market. How are people even living today? We have all turned into magicians because everybody knows that your workplace is not providing you what can actually make you survive within 30 days. Then we are pretending that we should continue to say the president is the holiest of all. Is the president respecting himself by listening to the cry of the Ghanaian?
We'll come to...
Not at all.
We'll come to the issues of the IMF soon. And I know most of the sentiments will come up there. But I am
with
still
caution.
cautioning. Yes, with caution. with caution. Let's quickly look at issues on the IMF, whether the implications of going back to the IMF, to go or not to go. That is the, I love the banner headline in front of the Daily Graphic on the 30th, to go or not to go. Experts support move and the private sector is divided. Mr. Thompson, let me quickly read the release from the presidency. And the release you talked about, Elikim.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have it here. I'll read it quickly so that we can continue with the discussion. Let me see. I have it here. Let me read it for you. This is from the Ministry of Information. The statement signed by MP Kojo Okon Nkrumah, the Minister of Information. It reads: the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has authorized Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to commence formal engagements with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, inviting the fund to support an economic program put together by the government of Ghana. At a meeting on June 30th, 2022, Cabinet indicated its support for the decisions. The engagement with the IMF will seek to provide balance of payment support as part of a broader effort to quicken Ghana's build back in the face of challenges induced by the COVID-19 pandemic and recently the Russian-Ukraine crisis. And that is the statement coming from the Ministry of Information dated July 1. And okay, so that is it from coming from, would you say, a good measure? We need to, do we need, even looking at the fiscal hole we find ourselves, do we need to swallow that bitter pill to be able to recover or something?
I mean, they always use this phrase that it's only a fool who doesn't change his mind. If you look at the situation you are in and you believe that at the end of it all, you need to balance yourself and make sure that your citizens don't suffer, then why not? If that is what would help us, yes, we need to do it, at least for the short-term measure. And I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see anything that is going to affect us. I believe that they put their situation forward. They look at it, they said, okay, we can deal with this, we can deal with that, we can deal with this, we can do that. So at the end of it all, you negotiate. It depends on your negotiation skills and your negotiation power. Once you are able to do that and do that well, and it's going to help you drive your economy, change your economy around. I believe recently Kenya, about 3 or 4 African countries have done that. They started working with the IMF and everything. So if you are working with them, I don't see what is wrong with it. And so if that is what would transform and change us within a short possible time, I'm all for it, and I believe that it will help us. The president has looked at whatever we have to look at, the finance minister and his team, because he works with people from the ministry. They've worked all the necessary measures out, and they'll start negotiations on what bailouts we can get from the IMF. And let's not forget that these came about due to the economic situation that we are in now, based on the international world crisis, the things that Britain, have gone on a recession now. We know what's happening in the US, we know what's happening in other, even the top countries that we know. They've been sitting down, they've been having meetings, we've been seeing all of it. We shouldn't pretend, we shouldn't think that, oh, it's only Ghana that is not going through the necessary or the pain of the Ukraine-Russian war. We are all hit by this bullet, and we all have to swallow it and make sure that we will not sit down and say that, oh, because opposition will talk, or because these people said that at the end of the day they also went to IMF, so we will not go for IMF bailout. We will do that and make sure that we turn things around, because we need to make sure that the country does not suffer in whatever we are doing. And that is what we are going to do for the citizens of this country. We will not shudder our responsibility. We will not change any minds about it. We will do whatever is necessary for us to make sure that our people gain what they have to gain, and we turn this country around. It is our responsibility, it is our duty, and we're brought into power for that. Over 1 million people voted, the last time over 500 people voted difference, and we know that at the end of it, 2024, people will vote for us based on the pragmatic measures we have put in place. No matter the names you call us, no matter what you say, oh, they are flying in this, there's this person or that person. We would focus ourselves, we will make sure that we transform this country, and we'll do it in the best possible way that will make sure that every Ghanaian living anywhere will feel very okay and will feel very happy that, yes, we went into hardship, but they've seen the difference that the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Dongom have brought to the lives and livelihood of the people of this country. And that is what we are standing for. That is what we are working for. And that is what we are doing. We would beg or we would ask everyone to bear with us, to work with us, to sit with us, to think with us, to accept whatever we are in now. We have accepted it. That here, there are crises, and it's a world over thing. We are not looking at the world over. We are looking at Ghana, and we are going to work hard and transform whatever we have to transform to make sure that people are okay. And that is why we took certain measures during the COVID season, during the start of the war and everything. But we are not going to relent our efforts to make sure that every businessman, every citizen, every person who lives in this country, who deserves to feel that, yes, they have been looked after, will do that and will make sure that the problems that we are facing now will be turned around. It's been done before. It's been done before. When it got to a time that President even came out and said that, yeah, I can't go pay. We still had to turn the country around. We did it, and it came out well. And we are going to do it again. I can promise Ghanaians about that. We will sit down, we will work hard, we will not sleep. And we'll make sure that we turn it day in, day out. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but gradually they will start feeling and seeing that we are getting back to the drift that we need to get into.
But why should we seek assistance from the Bretton Woods institutions, knowing the austere consequences that can hurt our economy?
Sometimes for a short time. You see, let me tell you one thing about loans when you're going for a facility. I have worked in the bank and I can tell you, going for a loan is not easy. But when you put in measures that you can let you repay, even within the shortest possible time, you will be able to come out of it as soon as possible. Because at a point in time now, you need to put in certain things that will help you push up or shore up your system. And if you don't do that, at the end of the day, the whole system will suffer. Do you want the system to suffer, or do you want to put in the necessary measures immediately for the next year or year and a half to see the difference in what you are doing? And these are the measures that you are putting in place. Nobody wants to go. In fact, when everybody is going for a loan, it's sweet. But the payment is the problem, and that is where we are going to work on.
And that is what I'm talking about here.
That is where we are going to work on.
Okay, well, I'll find out how the government of the day intend to work on that, knowing the consequences we have had to suffer previously. Let me come to Elikem. Elikem, now the government has chosen IMF. Is it the best fix for our economy?
When a government fails to see beyond its nostril, the result is what we are seeing today. From the word go, when the mismanagement, corruption, and the financial indiscipline commenced, and we told the world and them about how even the finance minister was massaging figures and all of that, they called us all manner of names. And again, let me state, the hypocrisy of the NPP has become legendary. The IMF, you called names and even bastardized. Even as you bastardized them, when they were giving you money during COVID, you took it. Then they all said, I think when I was coming, I was listening to a tape by the finance minister that we're not going to go to IMF. Almost every top echelon of the party said we're not going to go to IMF. Today they have found wisdom in a certain saying that it's only a fool who will not change his ways. So they have now admitted that the NDC was wise in telling them from the word go, and at the time they were the fool. You get it. So when you think, you see, governance is not just talking and trying to be civil and trying to be appealing to the conscience of the people. Get to work and let it reflect. Let them see. We're making it look as if our kitchen is situated at the very doormouth of Russia or Ukraine. And so everything they do, even while the Russian ruble is becoming the strongest currency, we are still struggling even as we have our kitchen there. It appears everything Ghana does now is dependent on Russia and Ukraine. The air we breathe is probably even given to us from Russia. And the water we drink is from Ukraine. And that is how pathetic it has become. Well, it is welcome news, but I pray it is not too late. Because I pray that the IMF does not ask questions like, how did you use the COVID-19 funds? And we'll start playing to them that we heard your parliamentary candidate saying that 50,000 cities was given shared to the parliamentary candidate, and we are supposed to be quiet over this mess. Or that one was just an allegation. When the parliamentary candidate herself did an audio and put on a platform that leaked. When you were introducing the e-levy, and you were telling us it was going to create 11 million jobs, and we told you it was a joke, you said the NDC was a naysayer. How many jobs have they created so far through the e-levy? That has actually dropped in transactions by 80% according to Imani's report. and a government that is not wise enough saw wisdom in cancelling road tolls to now be collecting e-levy. Road tolls that was giving you about 8 million monthly. Now you are collecting e-levy, which has given you 6 million. A shortfall of even 2 million from there. How wise can you be? How competent can you be? So you see where we find ourselves today. Now they have become apostles. They are preaching here, saying this and saying all that. I just gave you an example. UK today has decided that they are going to consider cutting down on VAT because of the hardships their citizens are facing. This is just 9.1% inflation. We are at 43 or 46 according to 7 hands. That's what I'll take. And this is where we are. And you see, it's such a shame that President Nana has too many square pegs in a round hole, including himself. That is what has actually brought us here. Because if you fail to listen to the people, you see, you ask that Ghanaians should work with you. But if the same Ghanaians are telling you, Mr. President, your luxurious travels, we are not saying don't travel. We are only saying that cut down on the cost. We were saying that cut down on the number of appointees. We're looking at a lot of things, corruptions here and there, matters that, look, we are a country that is struggling. Yet you are giving waivers, tax waivers, to persons who are related to the president's wife, to construct hotels, etc. You think it's a wise decision? And citizens are supposed to look on. When you and I are not giving any tax waiver for even the mask you buy on the street. So since when did this become the new normal? That we must embrace it. Well, like I'm saying,
it is the best fix for economy now.
You see, where we are now, we have no choice. Absolutely no choice. Because at this point, under this regime, the public purse is missing. It doesn't even exist. The purse is missing. We can't even find who stole it. Because even at the presidency, they could assault police officers and nobody can find those who did that. It's embarrassing to say the least where we find ourselves. It makes it look as if Ghana is the poorest or the country with the worst of leaders at this moment. I am telling you at this point in time, maybe even the primary 5 pupil will seek counsel from a good counsel that will lead him to help this country progress than what we have today. You remember Esela also told us that if governance was just talking, her own daughter or child also would have governed this country. Where is she today? Where are the very loud-mouthed people who were calling the IMF all manner of names? Are they not shameful? Today you have the effrontery to issue this statement. And they were still making reference to COVID-19 and Russia, Ukraine. When will this government stop deceiving us? And do they think that Ghanaians don't know what is happening? When the corruption scandals hit the screens, don't people see and hear it? The COVID-19 funds that was shared like toffee amongst themselves for their campaigns. It's unfortunate my elder brother was not given some. That one I can say on I know he wasn't given some. You get it? You distributed it anyhow amongst yourself. And you can't account for it. Go to the website of World Bank. They told us right from the word go that Ghana has failed to put in proper measures in terms of disbursement of the funds. That is on the website. Today, this is where we are. Now you have found solace in the IMF. The IMF, you bastardized so much and called all manner of names. The reason why John Mahama went there was because he was incompetent. So what are you now? Another word for incompetent is useless. Can I say that you are also useless?
We issued a disclaimer again. These words are his own words and not ours, and we don't encourage it on our platform. You can also join the conversation on 0557-446-429. 0557-446-429. Join the conversation. Send us your WhatsApp. Send us your text message, what you think about the discussions thus far. Join us also on Facebook. Like our page. Leave your comments there and also your suggestions. We are streaming live on the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation Facebook page. You can follow the discussion now there. We're looking at the Arise Ghana demonstration. We're looking at the IMF bailout and its implications on our economy. We'll be also tackling the $31.7 million funds that has been raised for the National Cathedral Project, and NAT is also demanding a 25% of cost of living allowance. And currently we are talking about the IMF bill, whether it is the best fit or the best fix for our economy around this time.
Let me just give you an example.
Conclude on, yeah.
So that, you see, this is a bottle of water you've given me.
Okay.
Currently, if this water is of no use to me, is that useless? Thank you. That is the regime currently. The regime is of no use to anybody at the moment. It's only useful to themselves. Look, are you okay that a government that propelled itself on the wings of apostles of incorruptibility, that said that they were the perfect managers, that said all manner of things. Now, when you even take Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index, President Mohammed's worst performance has still continued to be their best performance. And so it's a sad situation. You may not be so happy with some of my words because you think they are too harsh. That is why I have to give you an example.
No,
if I actually ask for water and you brought it maybe an hour late when I have had a cup of tea already and I don't think I need it, this is useless for me. It is useless.
Elikem,
so we need to be careful.
I don't think
you see,
the words,
the NDC,
the words don't match.
Yes.
Let me make a statement here. In as much as there are so many ways to communicate what we need to the people who are following us or the people who are watching us. But all I am preaching is let our language be civil, so that we can just communicate
according
the same thing, not
yes.
according to my culture and tradition, but according to within the legal framework of what we.
That is why I'm solely responsible for everything that comes out from me here. Any legal matters, I'm solely responsible for it. But you see, I speak as a youth, as a young man who can see clearly that an aged man is leading us in an abyss. I'm not harassing or attacking. I want to ask that, is my brother happy with where we are? No. And that is why he admits that things are not good. But you can't be telling people that work with us. Let's work, we'll take it, we've done it before. And then
now you're saying,
and then you are living, and then you are living a certain lifestyle which does not depict someone who appreciates what the cameraman, who appreciates what the carpenter, someone who appreciates what the mason is going through. You don't ask them to tighten their belts when you have loosened yours.
Elikem, do we want solutions to the economic?
We have always given solutions, and I can give you
do we want solutions to the current economic crisis that we are going through?
Everybody wants, and we
want. So what homegrown solutions would you prefer around this time, even if we had not gone to the IMF, or what the government has just issued, they do not go to the IMF?
You see, government needs to cut on its excessive expenditure, which is largely corruption. It has become an established endemic institution that if you and I are here today and we are told that government intends to relocate America from Takoradi to Kumasi and it's 34 million, already you and I know that they are talking about 5 million and 30 or so going to individual pockets. We must face facts. If we are telling you that you cut on waste, you'll be financially disciplined. Our finance minister doesn't care how much he goes for. The mere fact that his company is a transactional advisor to government and he gets some windfall from that always, he will continue advising us to go for loans. Then he will be clad in white and come and be preaching to you as if he's the holiest of all. Meanwhile, that is the opposite. You have the economic messiah, our vice president, giving lectures about what have you, the fundamentals and all of you. He's become an embarrassment of himself. Because, let me give you two examples. You recall when, that is what I'm telling you.
Number one, you have said we should cut on waste.
Cut on waste. You must be financially disciplined. Okay. You must actually ensure that, look, you seal the loopholes. For instance, why would you call for a cessation of collection of road tolls, which is generating 8 million for you monthly? Who does that? And now you are trying to tax people's wallet, which doesn't make sense. And you see the result? They said no, they were going to do it. They were expecting 6 billion, or how much was it? The de facto prime minister had to now start preparing the way for us to feel that it's not yielding the results. And that is very sorry to say the least.
Okay. Alfred.
Yeah.
Elikem has said a number of things. I don't know whether you want to react to any of them.
The first question I'll let Ghanaians ask themselves is, under the presidency of Mahama, what sent us to IMF? And under the presidency now, what is sending us to IMF? You see, let us not jungle and mix things and shout and call names and feel that we have got solution. We all know what happened under President Mahama when we went to IMF. It wasn't about any border or any border. It wasn't. And we know what is happening now. We know what is going on now. Everybody knows when it comes to this time, we shouldn't use Ukraine, Russia-Ukraine situation. We shouldn't use COVID. What should we use? Your time, you didn't have anything to use. That's why you couldn't use anything. You caused us to go. But this time, we told Ghanaians that we are not, and we do not want to ever go to IMF again. But the world situation has changed. And that's why you have to change and go accordingly, where you would also prefer other solutions. Whilst you are doing that, we are doing that and making sure that we are putting things together to transform the situation from an IMF situation onto a Ghanaian-owned situation. And that is what we are doing for Ghanaians. So I'm not coming to sit here to shout and pretend that, oh, everything is okay, oh, we don't need anything, we are not going to IMF. We have to go to IMF, we have to go to IMF.
Right.
We have to go if we have to go. And we are going for a purpose. And that is why we are putting purpose-driven solutions to seek for that facility that will push us into another direction. We are not going to relent our efforts on the program that we have already. We are working day in, day out to make sure that whether there's a world crisis tomorrow or not, we are going to work in such a way that we will come out of this situation where tomorrow, if there's another crisis, we will not go back into this thing we find ourselves in, that is the IMF and the world order. And that's what we are working on. And so we are not going to relent our efforts. And so any can sit here and shout and say and call president names, call finance minister names, call anyone names. But what we are saying is that we are not going to lose focus, and we are going to work hard to make sure that every Ghanaian anywhere will be okay and will be satisfied that they have seen that there is progress being made and Ghana is transforming from where it is now to where it should be. And we are going to work on that.
Okay, we are looking at the implications of our country going back to the IMF, and I've had some messages in here. Please do send us your WhatsApp. Don't call the number on your screen. You can see the number on your screen. It's for WhatsApp only. That is 0557 446 429. And before we continue with the discussion, we have some messages in here. Let's read them so we know. President Nana Addo and Dr. Bawumia once told JM, if the country is broke, fix it. They should humbly do likewise because we are tight. You didn't add your name. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Ghana is a blessing, but our leaders are blocking the blessings with their poor performances. We must go on our knees and pray more. The NPP can't satisfy Ghanaians if we don't pray to bring their minds back to why they were put into power. The NPP with its leader, His Excellency, the President, keeps saying things will be normal. The NPP man on your screen said it again, but they keep doing what would not make things normal for us Ghanaians. The NDC man is saying the right facts. Ghanaians are suffering. The Vice President always say Ghana is going forward and things are okay for every Ghanaian. Where did he do that review from? Folks, things are not normal. We are living by the grace of God. So let the NPP man in the studio know. Okay. When you send us the messages, kindly add your name and where you are reaching us from. I like the program so much, and I like how, Madam Moderator, you are controlling the panel. That is very good of you. Thank you. Thank you. You didn't add your name. Please, it will be better the media now suspends any communicator speaking for the government. They make us more angry. This era is proving our fathers in power have no idea to make our lives better. They all work for the betterment of their families. Poor us. This is coming from Kojo, from Tadi. So those are your views. You are saying the truth. Keep it up. Rebecca, I like your posture for this particular program. Thank you so much. Please add your name when you send us all the way from London. My name is Charles, and I live in London, but when I come to Ghana, I live at Tantra Hills. In fact, NPP government has failed us. 2024 is just around the corner. Okay, Charlie, thank you. Good day, GTV. Ghanaians are very disappointed in all politicians, not just the NPP. All I can say, all Ghanaian politicians are hypocrites, because when it comes to as gratia, both NPP and NDC become one on it. Ordinary Ghanaian workers are suffering. It's only God that can save us from Ghanaian politicians and their lies. Nowhere is good. NDC, NPP. We are not for anybody. Well, that is your view. My name is Ben from Kaswa. Good afternoon. The NDC communicator is only using abusive words. Meanwhile, we need solutions to Ghana's problems and the matters arising. Let him use very kind words because we all know the situation. Using abusive language won't help us. My name is Ben from Kaswa. Okay, Ben, thank you. Thank you. Oh, Ghana, someone can sit on the national television and say the president is useless. Why would you say that, Elikem? That is not a good language. And I'm glad that the presenter had to put you back in shape. My name is Ni Blase. I hope I mentioned it right, Ni. Okay, thank you, Ni. Good day. My name is Adwe Chan from Ahenema Kokobeng. MPP is now becoming a big disgrace to Ghana. We all followed it. All they do is now mismanaging our public funds. IMF may work if they don't share the money among themselves. So I am for the IMF, but please, the mismanagement should be cut. Ajua Echan from Ahenema Kokobeng in the Ashanti region. Abdullah Hassim from Achimota says, IMF, President Nanado has gone back to the IMF. Well, I don't blame him because the current situation demands it, but I feel they could have worked things out before going to the IMF. Abdullah Hassim from Achimota. Okay, let's see. In as much as the NDC guy is using harsh words, the NPP government has been insensitive and has failed. My name is Pakwesi, watching live from Dubai. But let the NDC guy use very good words on your set. Okay, Pakwesi, reaching us from Dubai. You can also send in your WhatsApp message. Let me come back to let's wrap up on this one. Then we go back and look at the cathedral issues and NAT also demanding a 20% cost of living allowance. And see how plausible that is. So, what will be a final
I would say that calling the president's names or calling the minister names will not solve the situation. And according to one of your texters, he was saying that we are not admitting that we are not in good times. I've stated over and over again that we are not in normal times. And that definitely there will be measures that will be put in place or that will be in place to make sure that we transform the economy we are seeing now. I'll state again that, listen, before you get to good times, you go through bad and difficult times. And that is what you are seeing today. That doesn't mean that that is the end of the road. It is not the end of the road. We have seen it before. And you know, when COVID started, the president said something that is very, very keen and very relevant today. He said that we can bring the economy back to life, but we cannot bring dead bodies back to life. And we are going to bring the economy back to life. Because whether we like it or not, it is an economy that is run and is run by people. And once we put ourselves together, we can transform the economy from the situation we are in now. Even though it's a world order going on, we believe that we can transform the economy from where it is now into a better and more prosperous nation. So we shouldn't give up. We shouldn't lose hope. I am telling them on authority that there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I've seen some of the measures that are being put in place. I've seen some of the things. You know, people run up and come quickly and come and say that, oh, and we should do A, B, C, D, E, because sometimes they've heard some of the things that you are putting in place. Some of the things take time. It takes time. So when you come and sit down and you shout that, hey, President Nanado should do this, President Nanado shouldn't have done this at this time and he should have done A, B, and C, we would still remain focused. We have an economy to run. We have the nation to transform. We have to give our people hope. We are working together to build a stronger and more resilient nation. We have done it before. We moved from borrowing rates to a good interest rate from the banks with lending rates and everything. We know what went on. So I can tell you on authority that whether we like it or not, Ghana is going to go back onto the track that it went into. And we are going to transform this economy into a more vibrant and more solid economy that people will see and will feel and will enjoy and will say that, yes, we said it and we've done it. Let us work together. Let us have hope. Let us not lose hope. Let us not listen to the doomsayers and the naysayers and say that, oh, they've run this economy down, they've spoiled this economy, they've done that. It is a world economic order that is going on. Recessions are going on in various countries, and we are not going to sit down to get to that stage. They have stated that yes, we've run to a situation where at the moment we need to go to IMF. We are going to IMF. We will put in the necessary measures. We will make sure that there are certain things that we will not accept and will not be cut off, and we will make sure that our people will enjoy the necessary things that they need to enjoy. We will not even put this country into a dangerous situation that prevailed some time back when we were going to IMF and all these bailouts and things that we are looking for. But we will run the system in such a way that everybody will feel they are part of it, and they will be part of it, and will run a better Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Elikem.
Yes.
Now we are settling for IMF
with so much pride.
How prudent should we
we are going to
go
IMF
about our things moving forward?
Yes, we are going to IMF with so much pride. And these Ghanaians will now begin to ask government, if you want them to work with you, begin by reversing the e-levy. Reverse it now, immediately. The reason for which you introduced the e-levy was in order to help you boost the economy. You have failed at that. Reverse it immediately and stop stealing money from the people's pockets. Reverse the e-levy. That is the number one thing you want to ask solutions. I'm beginning to give them here. Reverse the e-levy. Because we are living in a country where even textbooks have not been given to schools for over 3 years. Feeding grants to schools, 0.97 pesos. We cannot give it. And you think we should be charitable with how we describe the situation in Ghana? Maybe some people are not living here, so they do not know. They only hear words or comments from people. That is why they know.
So the insults will change the
It is never an insult. Descriptive words are never insults. When you guys were on rooftops calling Mahama incompetent, was it insult?
Insults will change the
situation.
Let's assume that we called him incompetent. And you think it's not good, so you think you should also insult.
We didn't say it wasn't good.
Independence.
We didn't say it wasn't good. We only told you that it was not the best description of him.
And you think now
the
situation is the best.
Everything that can be referred to, everything that can be referred to now, you have about to multiply. The multiply effect is what we are seeing today. Whatever you can point at President Mohammed's time, compared to this regime, and it is worse. So yes, it is good we are not going to IMF. And I'm surprised that my elder brother said he has worked in the bank, and he's already flexing his muscles, saying that we will not kowtow to some of the conditionalities they will give us and all that. I'm sorry. Then begin to tell your government to pack bag and baggage and not go there, but let them go to Teoborom or somewhere else and go and think of homegrown solutions and continue to remain with the Ghana beyond age. If already your communicators are saying to the IMF, even on set here now, that we will not even... it is easy to say things like that. Okay. You are again bastardizing them. If you knew it all, you should have actually done it, not go to them for credibility. Then now you are saying that we will not actually accept the conditionalities.
Thank you.
Let us state on record. State on record. COVID-19 cannot be used as a sole reason for which we find ourselves in this quagmire. Russian invasion of Ukraine cannot be either. Mismanagement, financial indiscipline, and the impotency of our currency is one of the major reasons we find ourselves in this year.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We go to our next discussion on the National Cathedral. But I had one particular question for you. Perhaps if there is time, we'll come back to it. I wanted to find out whether this whole going back to the IMF has defeated the purpose of the Ghana Beyond Age agenda. But that
is why I told you that we are still working on our agenda to make sure that we get into a situation where tomorrow we will not find ourselves wanting when there is a world economic order. We are still working, whilst we are doing the IMF, we are still working towards solutions that will keep us away from such situations. And we will not relent our efforts towards that. We're going to do the homegrown solutions, we're going to do Ghana Beyond Aid, and Ghana Beyond Aid is making sure that you are getting things locally and exporting them. We got to a situation where our exports cover was higher than our imports. So we've done that continuously for 4 years, between 2017 to 2020, and we can get back to that situation. So I'm not scared at all. I can tell you with confidence that we are not going to relent our efforts. Don't forget that when you look at the inflation figure, that is around the 27%, and you take Accra alone out of that inflation, it's around 11%. So you realize that it's Accra that there's a problem. This morning, there's a lady who walked into my house who comes from, she said, EAG. And as we were chatting, and whilst I was asking her certain questions, I asked her a tuber of yam in EAG. He said that 3 is going for 10 cedis. And I said, 3 for 10 cedis? He said, yes. And I said, so the other day who bought, I asked her, how much is a tube of yam at the market now? He said, one is going between 17 to 20 cedis. So it should tell you the difference in prices. And immediately it tells you that there's a disconnect somewhere, which we have to work hard to make sure that we connect it. So sometimes when we say that food prices are cheaper out of Accra, people would stand there and insult you and say so many things. But at the end of the day, when you look at the baskets,
let me quickly announce that we have been taken off from Ghana television, but viewers can continue watching the program on GBC News, and we are also live on our Facebook platform, so you can continue to watch the program there. But we have been taken off Ghana television as at now, but the program still continues and we are still live. Let's look at the National Cathedral. The National Cathedral, the Daily Graphic 30th June reports that 31.7 million Ghana cedis have been mobilized for the National Cathedral. And when you look at the story on page 16 of the Daily Graphic, it says that the fundraising efforts by the Board of Trustees have accrued $31.7 million, 7 million Ghana cedis since 2018. Out of that amount, 2.21 million was contributed by various church denominations. The National Cathedral.
Yes.
Let's look at the matters arising.
I think I cannot find the right words to comment on this, but to say that again, the president started off by being a pathological liar to Ghanaians. Why am I saying so? The president told you and I publicly that not a pesewa of the public funds was going to be contributed to that, and that he was going to go to individuals, etc. All government was doing was to provide land. As we speak, close to 200 million is coming even from government. This is a president who promised his God we do not know that when he wins his election, his first term, of which he was not assured of a second term, that he was going to build for God a church or a cathedral. He has even failed on delivering on that promise to God, because it was God was giving you that in 4 years. Or unless he wants to tell us again that he promised God that let me win the first term and the second term. Then now, you see, it is one of the reasons why I feel that if churches will be contributing this much to the cathedral, then maybe we should be looking at some of the churches also. Should we begin to tax them? Maybe it will help, especially for those who feel that it is worthy and are contributing the hundreds of thousands to the building of this cathedral. The circumstances under which the contract was even awarded.
Is that to suggest that the cathedral is not a prudent...
It is actually not a prudent one at all. If you want to take the words of the president of the Catholic bishops, who said that, look, it should never be a priority at this point in time. Do you know how much even that 31.7 million can actually turn this economy around in just one region? So I am sorry to tell you that we have square pegs in round holes who are not seeing the problem confronting us. If we can raise even that from 150 million to 200 million to 350 million, now we are told it's $400 million. It is not even being quoted in cedis, in dollars, yet it keeps varying, it keeps increasing. So by the time they will finish, we'll be told that it is $600 or $800 million. Go to Cote d'Ivoire where Ufe Boigny built the basilica. Ever since he built it, how many years ago, it has never been fully occupied. The only time it was occupied was once, that was when he died and his funeral was held there. That edifice in Cote d'Ivoire now requires about $1 million every year in order to maintain it. We have the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum here. Let them show you and I how well they have even kept that place. And you and I are supposed to believe that people who have failed to actually take good care of current existing state monuments will be able to take care of this one. So where from this joke? When you also know the circumstances surrounding the award of contract to one David Ajayi, who we are told is so closely related to Gabi Otredako, so for which reason that whole project was so sourced. and a lot of situations surrounding it about registration where Mensa Otabil was part and all that. And I must say here again, it is embarrassing to find any single man of God still serving as a board member or trustee of the cathedral, because it has become an embodiment of embarrassment. The president actually coerced them, deceived them to be there. You recall when the overseer of Action Chapel, Reverend Duncan Williams, he granted an interview and said it was a good idea, especially that the taxpayers' money was not going to be used in building it. How does he feel today? Why would he come out to grant another interview that I was deceived by the president? The president lied to me. You get my point. Do you think that the Catholics, for instance, will go and have anything to do in the cathedral? They have certain principles and basic tenets they must follow before they even hold their programs. So will they, for instance, hold any program there? So look, this is one of the misplaced of priorities, except that it is looking like another avenue for a certain class of people to dupe this country. The mere fact that close to 200 million has already been expended towards that project. And if you go there till date, it's just bare land you still see. It's bare land you still see. This is a country that is struggling, and we think that the Bible that told us God resides wherever two or more are guided or are gathered, we now need to build a big edifice so that He will come and take seat here. And so you hear people saying that only God can save this country. The God hypocrisy is one of what has brought us here. God has given us wisdom to act immediately and stop leaving things to Him again to do when He has given us wisdom. So when things are going wrong and you say, let's give it to God, this one unless, we must pray to God, then we are messing it all up. It is looking like business of corruption, which has become an endemic institution that is established under this regime. And it's very unfortunate.
Let me come to Alfred. Alfred, the National Cathedral.
Of the greater
National Cathedral, I don't know.
The melon growers are
because reading from what I have here, it's saying that the National Cathedral will be a historic project that provides a sacred space and infrastructure for the formal religious activities of the nation, like state funerals and presidential inaugural services, and is conceived as a physical embodiment of unity, harmony, and spirituality. The National Cathedral will be a rich, authentic celebration of Ghanaian tradition. And
it has a museum and every other thing.
So
it is not only just a national cathedral for church activities. It has a museum and have other activities that surround it, and it's going to be used for a national investment. So when they started, and these people started writing, but they've registered this as a private company. So what shows that it's for government, but it's going to certain individuals and everything. When now they started exposing that myopic ideas that they wanted to put in and try to brainwash Ghanaians, that listen, this is someone's personal and it's his project, and they are building it for him to take and use and gain the resources from it and everything. Then they started changing their tone. I would say that yes, we all said or heard the president saying that yes, he made a personal pledge, and the same way the president made a personal pledge to Ghanaians that he was going to do the free senior high school. He didn't think that he was going to take money out of his own pocket to pay for the free senior high school education that he wanted to give. So in that same vein, I don't believe that if he's made a pledge, and the pledge he made was when I become the president of the republic, I don't think he's going to take monies from America or monies from the coffers of India or Indonesia to come and build a cathedral. So he's going to put resources together, he's going to facilitate resources, and he's going to make sure that he builds the cathedral to the image of God. Definitely when such big edifices are being put up, you get so many people trying to castigate it and trying to bring it down in whatever form that it is. I remember, maybe he was quite young, but I remember very well when the Pink Lady was being put at the International Conference Center. There were so many names that were called. People were castigating Rawlings. They were saying that it wasn't necessary. The country was broke. The country didn't have money at that time and everything. Why are we putting at such edifice? And even the people who had the race course, they used it at that time, were also saying that why are you taking the race course from us? And that is a place that has been there since independence or before independence, and they use it every time. So now where do they send the race course? So it became a controversial special thing. But he went ahead and did the conference center. And today we are using it as one of the biggest conference centers we have. And it's serving the purpose that it should serve. So definitely, I mean, once this is being built, you get everybody or those people who are not in support of it. In that same vein, you get people who are in support of it and saying that, listen, let us build this cathedral for the image of God, to preserve us, to bring the unity and the purpose that it deserves. One day, prosperity will judge us and say that, listen, this has helped and served the purpose that it served. I would not say that because, yes, there is hunger or because there is, we are not in normal times, so we should throw everything as such. I went to one place when they were telling me that, why should we invest money in the cathedral when people have not eaten? So I asked the person, should we also invest in education when people are not eating? You see, let us not mix up our minds. Let us focus. We are trying as much as possible to raise almost every money that is built, that needs to build this cathedral individually or from the private sector. Yes, government has, I think later on they came out and stated that they are going to get the land and the seed money. I remember they used the word seed money from government, and that is what they've done. I believe that if there's any ratification that should be done, it's going to be done. At the right time, things would, I mean, the documents are there. Those who want to go and check it can check it. I don't believe that anyone or the bishops and the ministers have spent any money outside their rebates, and I would also say that I believe that they are managing it in so much a way that at the end of it all, it will come up in the image of God. I'm praying that we build it and build it well. I'm asking the support and the prayers of everyone. I'm asking for the support from the private sector, those who can afford. Listen, there are people who can say that, listen, take 100 million, and this is my contribution towards this cathedral. There are people who can say that, take 20 million, this is my contribution towards this cathedral. And I believe that it will be done. At the right time, everything will fall in place. You can call it names, you can say everything you want to say, but I believe that this cathedral is necessary for what its purpose and intention is there to do. Even when you go into the Bible, when this thing wanted to build a church for God, people were opposing it, Solomon, and so it's natural, it's normal, but at the best of times, people would sit up and say that this cathedral has served this purpose, and we know that it's focused in achieving its aim. Definitely, when figures are coming out, you get one or two places where someone will mention this, someone will mention that. Last time I was speaking to on one of your stations, they said, but they mentioned 100,000 for the cathedral. And when I found out from what do you call it, from these people,
treating Ghanaians to eat more of the fruit while the season
procurement authority. Apparently, the 100,000 was just for the consultation and everything that was going on. That was the money they bought or they voted that is what they are using for, but not for the whole cathedral. So you see, sometimes when you don't inquire and go into the nitty-gritty of the details or the truth about what is going on, you might sit down and some people will just throw some dust into the air and you believe it. So I believe that they stated how much it's going to cost, about 350 million. They're working so far on it, and I believe that at the right time, this thing will be raised into for the image of God. It will serve the purpose. It's going to serve not only as a cathedral, as a museum, as a place of research and learning. And so there are so many things, and I'm glad the chief imam contributed towards it. I believe that all others would also contribute towards it. I myself am contributing towards it, and I believe that we all can put ourselves together. I believe Elikem will one day contribute towards it, because whether he likes it, even if it's city, you've sowed a seed into this church, and God will definitely bless you for that.
Okay, Elikem, I'll come to you. I'll come to you so that we know how we are going to mobilize resources too, because from the Board of Trustees, they're saying that there will be a National Cathedral Week in the coming week. Oh yes, and it's in an effort to mobilize funds. It's a fundraising thing that we'll be doing, and they are hoping that people will commit at least 100 Ghana cedis a month so that we can build this. Yes, they are looking at a month. Let me read these messages. This one saying the NDC rep is just making noise. No sense. Hey. language is strong, please.
Too strong.
And
Let's
jumping
not insult.
over people. If MPP is not doing well, but you also give us any meaningful message, NDC is only good at attacking policies, but can initiate proposed solutions. Let him just go straight to his point and offer the solutions. The language is too strong, and you're also using strong language, and I'm cautioning against it. So please, when you send your messages, that fire for fire can't work on this platform. Ebenezer AJ from Suhum Kweshia, Runako. We need the cathedral, but not now. The church donating monies towards the project is a very good one. That students under school feeding are not getting food, and the churches should donate to that wise as well. Ebenezer J, please, the master on the platform, MPP, the police should be careful of what they are doing to Ghanaians, because it will get to a time we will not accept those things. I think you are talking in relation to our earlier discussion on the Arise Ghana demonstration. Please add your name to your messages. When will
may fascinate you? Do stay a moment
we build
longer for a history lesson.
I'm sorry. You just sent a message in relation to a video you sent. I'm sure it's something that will follow up. Hi, my name is Fred. This NDC man is too arrogant. After all, the advices that viewers are saying, he still gets the nerve to repeat them. We agree with him on some tangents, but he should please tone down. And this is coming from Alfred. Hi, I'm Vincent Kobe from Central Coffee. God bless you, Rebecca, and your able team. I'm sure this current affairs program will go far with how you are handling issues. Thank you so much. And God bless Mr. Elikem too. I think I'm in support of all that he's saying. God bless you, Pa. That is what you added. Vincent Kobe from Central Coffee. Good afternoon. The NDC man is too harsh. We know the times are hard, but with the words he is using, Madam, please tell him is never an alternative. We all need solutions. My name is Saka Ibrahim from Tamale South. Saka, we are grateful. We are really suffering. MPP, please, what is happening? We are beginning to be disappointed as young people. The MPP man says, and I quote, governing the country is not like going to buy cocoa. I want to ask him, they know about that and they were calling President John Mahama incompetent. Now they are going to IMF. We should have gone to IMF last year and not at this dying moment. My name is Kwame. Okay, thank you. Ellie, keep doing the good work for Ghanaians. The man beside you, this MPP man, is just one of those people in the country, and there is no way he is going to accept any truth from you. COVID-19, Russia, invitation, monkeypox is not spreading as they expect, and so they have to resort to IMF. I don't get the message. Isaac, maybe you have to come again. Hello. The same NDC, if they come back, we will suffer same. NDC, MPP are all the same. You didn't add your name. Yes, dear leaders, your phone do not have food to eat. The beginning of every economy is food. Your people do not have food to eat. The beginning of every economy is food. Without food, there will be no economy. We don't want Mother Ghana to get into a war situation. Please, let the food prices come down. My name is Emmanuel from Akuse. Emmanuel from Akuse. Yes, I agree with Elikem. E-levy should be reversed because it has failed at the purpose for which it was implemented. We are all asking for a homegrown solution. Perhaps it can augment government's efforts, but around this time, if IMF is our option, I believe it has to be reversed immediately. Ifia Boateng from Tabora. Fia, thank you for your opinion, for your suggestion. I am personally going to write to the IMF to probe the COVID fund. Good day, Madam Host. I am proud of you. I didn't know a woman can be so resolute and so firm in controlling this show, but you have proved yourself worthy. Thank you so much. My name is Israel from Salaga. Israel, we are grateful. As a youth, I thought being a leader means sacrificing, but our politicians have turned it into slavery on our own land with great riches. What is the meaning of our national anthem? Do they really understand it? But the NDC man, please, you are talking your mind and using the word useless. Please calm down. Calm down. We all know we are suffering. Things are not going on. My name is Michael Gakpo. Okay, thank you, Michael. As some, there are high hopes for this MPP government if only they have resorted to the IMF. But we should find homegrown solutions ourselves because we can't rely on IMF every time. Akosia from Tesano says people have lost jobs from banking sector, followed by the hotel sector during and after COVID, and now citizens suffering from e-levy. How are we supposed to survive? God help Ghana. President Akufo-Addo, do something now.
Congratulated the new
Akosia from Tesano Senda. Ghanaians gave the NPP 8 years. It's left with 2.5. They can't do anything. Yes, e-levy must go off. I am home today because I am not paid as a government worker. No money. Jinyame. That is what you sent to us. But yes, that's what he's saying. I don't know if you can send us your institution, your name. Perhaps yes. There's no. Okay, maybe your institution. We can follow up and check. There's no name here. He sent us this message. NDC guy is saying the truth. NPP government have caused so much financial loss to the states, and the mismanagement is too much. My name is Aziz. Please, yes, we have so many messages, so many messages. I'm not sure we can finish reading them. Let me take maybe 3 of them, then I come back to the studio so that hello, my name is Benjamin Arthur, aka Agenda from Ablekumanov. MPP are the better economic managers. We need Honorable Stephen Asamoah Boateng Asabi to break it's a campaign message to break the 8 as MPP party chairman. Okay, Benjamin Arthur, we are grateful for that message. Abdallah Hassim from Achimota says, IMF, Nanado, please do something. I think I've read that message twice. My name is Gabriel from Kumasi. The MPP man seated there is not saying the issues as it is. The economic hardship is too much. Your government claim they have the men. So why now? Let them work. Let them work. That is coming from Gabriel in Kumasi. Let's look at Nat. I don't know, are we done with the cathedral issues? How we're mobilizing funds?
Yeah, I just have one thing to say.
Yes, mobilizing funds to put it up.
My big brother quoted the Bible, and I want to quote Luke chapter 14, verse 28 to 30. It says, is there anyone here who, planning to build a new house, doesn't first sit down and figure out the cost so you will know if you can complete it? If you only get the foundation laid and then run out of money, you are going to look pretty foolish. Everyone passing by will poke fun at you. He started something he couldn't finish.
Amen. Now let's look at the cost of completion.
You see,
it has concluded your.
I don't know if you recall, if you were the one moderating at the time, we came when one of the groups was, TUC was calling for some apolitical allowance or something. I've forgotten what No, there was one that they said
cost of living.
No, they were requesting for a certain allowance that would demand them not to be political. Yeah, and I
neutrality allowance.
And I said, said that look, it is right in they are right in every sense to demand so. It is whoever they sit with that will now say no, we can't give you, or we can give you, or change this name and all of that. Every employee given the chance would request for the best of moments because times are really hard. Our salaries have been known not to be rising in commensurate to living standards amongst other things. So the concerns they are raising is justified. It's just the same as other institutions or other public institutions will also be demanding the same. Because, you see, and people say I'm too harsh. Let me say this very nicely. The way government is behaving is even giving reason enough to every employee out there to go on the street or go out there and demand for increments. Because if, for instance, you are saying we don't have money, yet you could give $24 million to somebody who does architectural design for the National Cathedral. Meanwhile, the architectural design for the Burj Khalifa and then the Mall of the Emirates was 1.8 million. Then the Ghanaian will begin to say, do we really have money, or are we really broke? Or it's just a certain small class of people who are doing so. And you see, so that is the reason why government, even though when people are saying admit that we are in a mess, they are not saying that come and say it publicly. Let it be in your deeds. They want to see it in action. And that's why we'll keep drumming to you. When they are saying that, no, that is why when they are saying that the admission is not by you saying it. The admission is by you living it. But if the president, again, people say we don't want to say he's insensitive. Fine, okay. If the president is taking a deaf ear to what we are saying and he's not listening, he is not living what he is telling you and I, that we are broke, we are in difficult times. No, he is enjoying, he is living here and there.
But the statement that has been issued today, doesn't it admit that we are in an economic hardship and that they are resorting
But the government is not living like that. They are still living like Arabian kings. So when you are traveling to Kigali, you can take commercial flight like you did sometime to deceive us when you were going to Dubai. Then Ghanaians will admit, when Ramaphosa was traveling to, where was that? He went by commercial flight. The female president, was it Tanzania? When she went to the UK and brought about 10 billion, was it 10 billion or 10 million worth of investment into her country? She didn't have to go there on a luxurious private jet that requested her to be sleeping. No. But she brought so much investment back into the country. Our president goes and brings us debt. So that is what people are actually saying, that look at us, tell us what the problem is. Now leave it yourself also. Let us know that, look, the challenge you are telling us we are confronting, Ghanaians are ready to listen. So, Ghanaians are ready to admit.
The 20% that Nat is requesting for, is it in the right order?
It is in the right order, because every employee would ask that, look, my salary has not seen any significant increment in this period. But if you have 24 million to throw away at an architect who's works in Ghana also is very fishy, who has been given a sole contract. If you have $31.7 million or $34 million you want to transport or relocate Ameri to Kumasi. If you have the wanton corruption that has been established at the presidency, then we also want our pound of flesh. And if you are telling us as Ghanaians that we are in difficult times, we are in the woes, listen to this. For the first time in history, an oil-rich country, some 5 years into oil production, is seeking bailout from the IMF. That was President Nana in 2015. It's very shameful. I'm sorry he has become an embarrassment. Because, see, no president has ever been trusted. Yes, no president has ever been trusted this much to be the one to do things well than President Nana. That is why the people are equally angry with him the same way.
Alfred, 20% cost of living allowance for NATS.
Have not had any major
Association for Teachers.
It's
natural
at this stage everyone will be asking for an increment in salary or an increment in allowances or a new allowance to be given. Definitely, once we are in this tight situation, people would ask. But I keep on saying one thing. You see, the mistake we keep on doing day in, day out is we keep on asking for salary increment, we keep on asking for adjustment in prices and everything. But we forget that the moment you ask for a salary increment, it has its rippling effect. What we should start doing, and we need to come out together as a body and say that, listen, we are going to stabilize things and start bringing prices down. When you do
to
that,
make me
you
accessible
realize that your salary
to the main road
is
to
not a
town
problem. Maybe it's a promotion
and
that
to
will
the
move
market.
you onto the next level.
That
But
gives
when I
revenue to
ask for a
this
salary
assembly.
increment,
The youth also
the
bought
trotro
some
driver
bags
out
of
there
cement
will ask that
and
I
rented the
also need to
services
increase
of
my
the tipper truck
fuel
to put
or
the
my
road back in good condition so
profit.
that
So
traders
let me
could
also increase
transport
my
their
prices a
produce
bit.
to the markets.
This person, the
They
market
have
woman, will say
therefore
that,
appealed to
bringing
government to
the yam
intervene
down or
and
the
reshape
gari or
the
the
road
rice, let me also
for
increase it a
easy
bit to make
movement
money.
of goods
So
and
things will keep
services.
on going higher.
And before we
That
part
is what is
company,
happening
let's
to
take
us
this
as a
story
nation.
from the
So
central
why
region.
don't we sit down and look for ways and means in making sure that, listen, a price of a tuber today should not change in the next 5 years. It should not change in the next 10 years. So if someone is receiving a salary of 1,000 cedis per month and it serves this purpose, I should rather see the more production for the tuber to be coming down than seeing me increasing my salary for things to go more. And it also affects your currency. It affects everything that is going on. These are things that we should start looking at as a nation. So I beg the unions that, listen, let's sit down and strategize on all these increments here, increments there. Is it going to serve the purpose that we want it to serve? Or let us sit down with government and see that how can we stabilize? We all come together and stabilize things in such a way that there is a cap to everything that we bring. Listen, if government has to do the road, instead of doing maybe airport road or East Lagos road, let me do the road from Asamankese to Accra that will be able to cut the roads. Let us cut the situation of where there is a lot of police on the way that will be demanding this person is demanding that, that person is demanding that will increase the prices. All these are things that we should sit down and look at as a nation. When we do that, it reduces or it cuts down all these extra costs that comes into the pricing of goods and services that we gain. So at the end of it all, we realize that, listen, I'm earning 1,000 cedis, maybe 2 years, 3 years, but it's still able to buy more than it used to buy. And that is how we can grow as a nation. So we need to all come to the table. We need to all come to the drawing board and see how best we can work together instead of always asking for increments in allowances, increments in salaries, increments in everything, which has its rippling effect on the economy.
Hi, good day. This is
That is what we expect that you should have done. For instance, as you made the stellar example of the bumper yam, etc. Government definitely know when we have bumper harvest, so that if you're transporting, when you were talking of one district, one factory, you mentioned silos that are for storage, etc. So what happened to that? Because if that is actually in place, it should be able to solve this challenge that we are confronted with, for instance.
Right, let's get some messages here. Mr. Thompson is now humbled instead of politicking.
Because I'm not shouting or insulting like that.
Did you add your name? Nana Kofi Philip says some Ghanaians are very disappointed in all politicians. One time it's the NDC's turn, another time it's the NPP's turn. It's all the same. The value is the same. Ordinary Ghanaian workers are suffering, and there has to be a cost of living allowance given to the ordinary Ghanaian worker, because whether we like it or not, things are increasing. And until we find that long-term solution of stabilizing the economy and getting that 5 to 10 years, as Mr. Thompson is saying, we should first take a look at what is happening within the economy and give an increase in cost of living allowance so that it can match up to the rising cost of goods and services in our country. My name is Kofi Philip, Nana Kofi Philip. Nana Kofi Philip. We are grateful for your message. Ghana is a member of IMF. If NDC didn't collaborate with the government for e-levy, there are so many ways to kill a cat. NDC isn't also the alternative. Alaji Aminu from Begro. Alaji. I am tuned in and the show has been awesome. I look forward to this team another time and look forward to what they will bring on board. Thank you so much. Thank you. We are grateful that you enjoy the program. Good afternoon, Rebecca. Mismanagement in our country must stop, and we will save our country from this embarrassment. Going back and forth the IMF. I don't know even what to say. Felkut, is that a name? Yes, I guess I did justice there. The country is in economic mess. Yes, we are all aware of that. But I want to ask Elikem, what is he doing to redeem his own self from the economic hardship? Please, let's stop the noise and the uncivilized nagging. It won't bring things to its normal state. We all have to contribute to the development of our country. Let's profess solutions, irrespective of our party colors. Being in NPP or NDC, let's see ourselves first as Ghanaians, because that is who we are. And we have to say the issues as it is, but the noise and the uncivilized language won't help. Great solutions is what we need for our development. Thank you, sir, for that contribution. My name is Amin from Kaswa. These are hard times, so MPP, please do something. Amin, the powers that be are listening, and the party is also listening. Now we all have funnels and gallons inside our cars. President Akufo-Addo, why? I am Phyllis from Sprinters Road. But why do you have funnels and in your car?
Because you can't fill your tank.
Wow.
So they buy
Hi.
Today I took tractor to this place.
Wow. Hi, I like the program and what you are discussing today. My name is Abugri Al-Hassan from Upper East in Boko. I love your discussion, Rebecca. And I'm so glad you've been able to moderate this show to a successful end. I'm sure the show will be ending soon. And NPP, but things are not going well. I'm Kojo from Ashama. What are you doing? Okay, please ask the NPP communicator, Mr. Thompson, for me. Togo, Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, are they also going to IMF? And if they are not, they are also not on a different planet, always blaming others instead of acceptance of our mismanagement. My name is Sir Nicholas from Kumasi. This is a direct question, but I know it will be rhetorical because my time is...
I was giving the example. I give you Kenya. So what is he saying?
So please ask whether Nanado will continue to be in those luxurious jets at the expense of the poor taxpayer. My name is Prof. Clint D. From Achimota, Gospel Kwame from Achimota. Ask the NPP man to ask President Akufo-Addo not to go to IMF, but go for the money he said Ghanaians are sitting on, yet they are hungry. Good day, my friend. Good day, my friend. And we're giving our viewers more time today because most of the time we don't read their messages and they get at us after the program. My name is Roger Samuel from Agbogba Junction. The problem we have is President Nanado and Dr. Bawumia. Please, the looting in the government is too much. The men also put in places are too many. Can't we cut down on the number of people we have in government positions so that we can save money for our country? Moses, I have one more here. Moses Asson from Old Ashom said, I feel so sorry for the MPP communicator in your studio. He looks so helpless defending a non-starter. All Ghanaian politicians are the same. Why should we be defending the indefensible? These are views of our cherished viewers at home. There are so many of the messages in here. We couldn't read them all, but we do cherish all the messages that you have brought to us. And those that need feedback, I'm certain that the producers of the program will get back to you. So this has been it. Your final words, my people.
I would say that times are not normal, as we've always stated. We're putting in measures that will help us curb from this situation. Even though we might be going to, we are going to IMF, we are still putting in pragmatic measures within that will not drive us into going to IMF in the near future, because we believe that we should cut ourselves off the international funding, and that's why we keep on saying that Ghana Beyond Aid. We still insist on the Ghana Beyond Aid, and we are working towards that situation where we will not need the foreign aid to come in to curb some of these situations that we would happen when there are world crises. So we will definitely work. We are still working, and we will tell Ghanaians that they should give us all the prayers and support that we need. They should support us. They should back us where we're going wrong. They should say it nicely, and we will definitely correct them. We are also showing measures that we are putting in place to correct them. We are going for a retreat very soon. We'll come out with new measures. We'll tell you what we put in place, where we've gotten to, and what we need to add on to make sure that we are going towards the right direction. So they shouldn't fear. There shouldn't be any fear or intimidation by anyone. Let's work together towards making Ghana a more peaceful and more loving place, devoid of insults and intimidation from anyone, to make sure that we work together and have a peaceful and loving Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, my minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, 4 more says that they are still working and things will get better. And that's what the sermon has been. But they have been working since 2017 when they said the job was enormous. It's most unfortunate the quagmire we find ourselves in as a people. It was avoidable and unfortunate that a government that does not listen, that is only more talkative, is what has brought us here. I pray that when we go to IMF, as is the case now, our regime will listen, that they will have to be prudent in management, they will have to make sure that they eschew corruption. They must actually look at the fact that the suffering masses that are looking up to us are the very ones for whom we exist in those offices, so that we can do what is expected of us. Lastly, I would want to prove again that we must reverse the E-levy immediately if we are considering going to the IMF, because the number one reason for the E-levy was in order to help the economy create 11 million non-existing jobs. I don't know how many have been created yet, so we must reverse the E-levy immediately and restore the road to talk. Ghanaians will appreciate that. So it is not about just talking and not doing it. It is about putting it into practice. So Ghanaians don't want to see too much talk from you. Put it into action. Let's see the results of what you are doing. Then we would appreciate that this president is not just being talkative. It's been 6 years of very bad governance, and we cannot countenance the next 2 years in the same shadow.
Thank you very much. And let me say that views of the panelists on this particular program represents their own and not that of the GBC. And we're also grateful to our viewers at home for also buying into the program and sending in your messages. We are very grateful for that one. And we have been capturing some of the major news within the week, and we have been tackling it here, looking at the Rise Ghana demonstration and whether government should go to the IMF or not, and its implications, the 31.7 million Ghana cedis that has been raised for the cathedral, the National Cathedral project, and also whether it's NAT's demand for a 20% cost of living allowance is in the right direction. And I've been in here with Elikem Kotoko. He is an NDC communicator, and he helped us to do this. And with him is Mr. Alfred Kojo Thompson. My name is Rebekah Awuah, and we are grateful to the technical crew for also bringing this broadcast to your way. Let's meet again next week.